May 7, 1915, a torpedo fired by a German U-boat strikes the British ocean liner Lusitania off the coast of Ireland. Within 18 minutes, the once mighty ship sinks beneath the waves, taking nearly 1,200 lives with it. But why? Why was a civilian passenger ship targeted in the midst of World War I? Was it an accident of war, or was there something on board the Lusitania that the world wasn't supposed to know? The sinking of the RMS Lusitania shocked the world. The ship, a marvel of luxury and engineering, had been a symbol of progress and global connection. Yet, its tragic end became a turning point in World War I, pulling the United States closer to joining the conflict. But behind the headlines of outrage and mourning lay a deeper mystery. Why would Germany risk international condemnation by attacking a civilian vessel? And what secrets were hidden in the Lusitania's cargo hold that might have sealed its fate? To uncover the truth, we must delve into the political intrigue, espionage, and propaganda of a world at war. The Lusitania wasn't just a ship, it was a floating masterpiece. Launched in 1906, it was one of the fastest and most luxurious ocean liners of its time. Designed to compete with German and French rivals in the race for transatlantic supremacy, the Lusitania boasted cutting-edge technology, opulent interiors, and a reputation for unmatched speed. Passengers who boarded the Lusitania entered a world of fine dining, elegant lounges, and grand staircases. But beneath the glamour was a ship designed with dual purposes, a detail that would become critical in its tragic story. As war loomed, the Lusitania became a symbol of British strength and resilience. Yet, its speed and size also made it a prime target for German submarines prowling the Atlantic. What secrets lay hidden in its construction and its cargo hold that made it more than just a civilian vessel? When the Lusitania set sail in May 1915, the world was already in turmoil. World War I had transformed Europe into a battlefield, with alliances and rivalries dictating the course of history. Germany's U-boat campaign was intensifying, targeting British shipping to cripple the Allied war effort. Yet, even in this climate, civilian ships like the Lusitania were considered off-limits, protected under international law. But Germany was growing desperate. British blockades were starving its economy, and whispers of secret weapons and contraband aboard Allied ships reached German intelligence. The sinking of the Lusitania wasn't just a military action, it was a calculated gamble to send a message. But was it justified? Or was there more to this attack than met the eye? Officially, the Lusitania was a civilian passenger ship, carrying families, businessmen, and tourists across the Atlantic. But unofficially, it was something far more controversial. As war raged, the British government began using civilian vessels to transport war materials, blurring the line between neutrality and combat. German intelligence had strong suspicions that the Lusitania's cargo hold was hiding munitions and military supplies, despite Britain's public denials. Evidence suggests the Lusitania was carrying rifle cartridges, shrapnel shells, and possibly more. The decision to mix passengers and war supplies on the same ship was not only a moral gamble but a strategic one that would put lives at risk in the name of the war effort. Did the British government knowingly endanger the Lusitania to provoke outrage and turn public opinion against Germany? On May 7, 1915, the German U-boat U-20 lay in wait along the Lusitania's path near the Irish coast. Captain Walter Schwieger had already sunk multiple Allied ships, and now, the Lusitania was in his sights. At 2:10 p.m., Schwieger ordered a single torpedo to be fired. The torpedo struck the Lusitania's starboard side with a thunderous explosion. To the shock of the crew and passengers, a second, far larger explosion followed. Experts believe this secondary blast may have been caused by munitions stored in the ship's cargo hold, a theory the British government has long denied. As the Lusitania began to sink, panic consumed the decks. Lifeboats capsized, passengers jumped into the freezing water, and within 18 minutes, the ship was gone. The waters around the wreck became a chaotic scene of desperation and heroism. Survivors clung to pieces of wreckage, calling out for loved ones as rescue boats rushed to save as many as possible. Fishermen and sailors from nearby towns braved rough waters to pull survivors from the freezing Atlantic. But for many, help came too late. Nearly 1,200 people lost their lives, including men, women, and children. The sea, once a pathway of connection, had become a graveyard. The survivors' accounts painted a harrowing picture. Lifeboats that couldn't be launched, crew overwhelmed by panic, and passengers who chose to jump into the icy water rather than face the chaos on deck. The horror of that day would haunt those who lived through it, shaping the world's memory of the Lusitania for generations. News of the Lusitania's sinking spread like wildfire. In Britain and the United States, outrage boiled over as headlines decried the attack as an unforgivable act of barbarism. The deaths of 128 American citizens placed immense pressure on the U.S. government, which had remained neutral in World War I. German officials defended the attack, citing warnings they had issued about sailing into a war zone, but their justification did little to stem the tide of international condemnation. The sinking became a propaganda weapon for the Allies. Posters depicting the drowning of innocent women and children fueled enlistment drives and hardened public opinion against Germany. Yet, beneath the outrage, questions remained. Was the Lusitania truly innocent, or was it a calculated risk by Britain to provoke U.S. intervention? In the wake of the Lusitania's sinking, investigations sought to uncover the truth behind the disaster. The British Admiralty launched inquiries, but their findings left more questions than answers. Survivors described hearing 2 explosions, the initial torpedo strike and a mysterious second blast that many believed was caused by hidden munitions in the ship's cargo hold. Yet the British government denied these claims, insisting the Lusitania carried only legitimate goods and civilian passengers. Critics accused the British of a cover-up, pointing to secretive cargo manifests and evasive testimony from officials. Germany, meanwhile, used these allegations to justify the attack, claiming the Lusitania was a legitimate military target. The lack of transparency deepened the mystery, fueling speculation about whether the ship's sinking was a tragic miscalculation or part of a larger strategy to draw the U.S. into the war. The sinking of the Lusitania became a turning point in the propaganda war between the Allies and Germany. In Britain, posters and speeches emphasized the cruelty of the attack, portraying Germany as a ruthless aggressor. In the United States, the deaths of 128 Americans created a wave of outrage. Though President Woodrow Wilson remained committed to neutrality, the Lusitania's sinking began to shift American public opinion toward intervention. The incident was a propaganda goldmine for the Allies. Graphic depictions of the disaster, including children drowning and families torn apart, flooded newspapers and posters. These images stirred emotions and planted the seeds of war readiness in the American psyche. The Lusitania wasn't just a ship, it became a symbol, a rallying cry for justice, and a chilling reminder of the stakes of global conflict. Though the United States did not immediately enter the war after the Lusitania's sinking, the event marked a crucial step toward intervention. Germany's unrestricted submarine warfare escalated tensions, and the Lusitania remained a powerful reminder of civilian vulnerability in the face of military aggression. Over the next 2 years, continued U-boat attacks and the infamous Zimmermann telegram pushed the U.S. to declare war on Germany in 1917. The Lusitania became a rallying symbol for American soldiers, a reminder of why they fought. Its sinking wasn't just a tragedy, it was a call to action that mobilized a reluctant nation. By the time U.S. troops arrived in Europe, the memory of the Lusitania still burned brightly, a testament to the cost of standing idle in the face of injustice. The Lusitania's sinking left a legacy that reached far beyond the war. It became a symbol of civilian sacrifice and the dangers of modern warfare. For years, the mystery of its cargo and the second explosion fueled debates among historians and maritime experts. Was it simply a tragedy of war, or was it a calculated risk by the British to provoke outrage and bring America into the conflict? The Lusitania also transformed maritime safety. The tragedy highlighted the need for better evacuation procedures, clearer rules of engagement, and the importance of protecting civilian lives during wartime. Its story lives on in museums, books, and documentaries, a haunting reminder of the human cost of war and the secrets it leaves behind. The sinking of the Lusitania is often remembered as an act of German aggression, but the full story is far more complex. Evidence of munitions in its cargo hold raises questions about the ethics of using civilian ships for military purposes. The British government's lack of transparency only deepens the mystery. Was the Lusitania sacrificed to provoke outrage, or was it simply a tragic casualty of war? The Lusitania's story is a cautionary tale of propaganda, secrecy, and the thin line between civilian and military targets. Its sinking changed the course of history, drawing America into a global conflict and shaping the rules of war for generations. Today, as we reflect on its legacy, we are reminded of the human cost of ambition and the enduring power of the truth.
Thanks for watching, and subscribe my channel.